Sean, it's good to have you on again, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's so great to see you, Lance. I see you've grown your beard in a little bit, but it's looking
Yeah,
sharp. And got a nice haircut, so it's great to see you again for sure.
yeah, and I think you've trimmed your beard and grown your hair out,
Yeah, exactly. I just took it here and I put it up here. So
right? You guys have been conquering the world lately. I've been watching you online, and you've got more partnerships and more features. And what's on the horizon for you guys?
yeah, it's been a really fun ride. I've been at Katana for 3 years, and I remember my first day starting at Katana and hearing our CEO Christian, who's one of the founders of Katana, talk about our North Star. And we were actually online, and he was addressing the company in our weekly meeting, and he was saying our North Star is to be the best of breed inventory solution in the SMB market.
Awesome.
And the really cool part of that is that hasn't changed. So from where we were at 3 years ago, we've had a pretty clear picture of where we want to go, and focusing on that inventory manufacturing space for the SMB size business is really where we're focused in providing that specific solution as I think the key there is like best of breed product.
Yeah. And I think last time we talked, you said something about a $40 million investment or $40 million budget, something like that, which I think that'll get you far. I think that money, I think will get you far. And I'm sure you've had a lot more funds come in from new customers. You said you even had a $1 million customer and a $250 million customer. And what I mean by that is a company that does 1 million a year in revenue and 250 million a year in revenue. That's pretty big. That's like not SMB in my opinion. That's mid-size, large size. What do those two companies do?
So the mid-sized business is a large food company,
Hmm.
food producer, and they're utilizing Katana at a number of their locations specifically for the batch tracking functionality. So that's the sort of, but the $250 million business that's using Katana is a little bit of an outlier today for sure.
Right,
If
right.
you were to
Total
look at,
outlier. Yes.
yeah, like where we are having the majority of our success is, not that mid-sized business, though, the market is kind of pulling us there because I think our solution is easy to use. And there's a significant sort of gap today where a lot of those M-sized businesses are forced to use a all-in-one product like NetSuite or SAP that doesn't actually have the specific functionality they need for certain aspects of their business, or it's overly complex and they're just not getting the return on investment. And so that's where we are actually seeing a significant influx of customers from NetSuite and SAP as ERP solutions, and they're sort of downsizing in a way their technology stack and looking for that easy to use approach to solve specific problems within their business. And that's where we've had some success in those large organizations. But our main focus is that SMB space. So a business between 1 million up to 250 million, but that's, pretty high on the horizon. So I would say on average, we're working with businesses, between 1 and 50 million is probably, a little bit of a tighter scope. And even around that $10 million mark is probably where 5 to 10 million is probably where we see, the majority of our customers kind of coming in today.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. 100%. 5 to 10 million a year. If you're doing about 5 to 10 million a year, you're the average Katana customer. But I think I say here at Brandel Consulting, we mostly serve companies that do between 3 million a year to 30 million a year, wholesale distribution, manufacturing, and or e-commerce. Now, e-commerce is a different measurement, different workflow, so you can do a lot more with e-commerce, which my understanding is you haven't really dove into that market yet. You're still you started out as light manufacturing, wholesale distribution, and recently I saw you came out with a new feature for mobile warehouse management, which is awesome because I think that's an important an important part of an inventory management software because, latency is the enemy to inventory accuracy. And if we can just put the device in someone's hand and say, okay, if you touch it, you're responsible for recording what you did, then we've eliminated the latency and we've got real-time inventory tracking, which will really improve inventory accuracy. So I was excited to see those features, but enough talk. We should take a look at the software, right?
Oh, sure. We can dive right in.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's do an overview.
Pop open the hood.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Let me share my screen here, and should be coming through on your end. Yes, so we've got we have our full manufacturing piece. So employees can log on and off of jobs. They can see what materials required on that individual manufacturing order, what other operations are required in any specific notes. And the tool allows them to track also how much time is being spent on it. So you have really accurate job costing from your shop floor.
And are you talking about the screen you're showing us right now, or are you talking about the mobile device still?
I was talking about the mobile device. So we have the mobile device there's sort of two aspects. One is for the shop floor control and tracking that through production. And then the other is for the warehouse management, and that's for picking. And we will have also receiving, which is going to be released here just shortly, where you can barcode scan on a mobile device and receive in your items as well. That is actually just a couple of weeks away.
Awesome. 2 weeks away. Yeah, I think receiving is important. Everything starts at receiving. And if receiving's not right, it kind of snowballs from there. So that's exciting to see that coming.
Yeah,
So,
and I really, sorry, I was just going to really like your point around real-time inventory, because it really is something businesses don't necessarily prioritize enough in my mind. And a lot of them are running off visual cues to sort of go out and buy more product. And the problem is, especially in today's environment where you can sell through so many different sales channels, whether it be Shopify, point of sale, brick and mortar store, you've got your B2B wholesale stuff going on. And all of a sudden you're oversold on an item that you didn't realize because those orders all came in one day. And that then can hurt your fulfillment time frame, your customer relationships. And with real-time inventory coming from demand through to actually removing it from stock and having that visibility around it really helps you make sure you've got tight control over your inventory and you're not carrying too much or carrying too little, to help ensure that you're fulfilling the orders as fast as possible, but also not investing too much into your inventory, because that's something that I actually see more often is businesses tying up too much cash in their inventory, and they can't utilize that cash to invest in marketing to scale the business.
yeah, I like to say, if you're thinking about investing in inventory management software, your most obvious ROI is going to be the reduction of overstock, which you may not feel like you have overstock, but once you have an inventory system with real-time tracking and a comfort level of sort of controlling the levels of your inventory, then you can confidently and comfortably reduce that overstock. So say you invested 10 grand in the first year, or maybe 10 grand in the first 2 years, maybe 20 grand in the first 2 years, you should be able to comfortably reduce your overstock, we'll call it, by 200 grand, right? Sounds scary without inventory management software. You're like, no, we need that cushion. But with inventory software, you should be able to decrease that cushion. And, that ROI is easily seen through that reduction of what feels, what you didn't know was overstock, but actually is. And then you also mentioned visibility, Sean, with accurate inventory and, the visibility of the screens, especially online, you can make good decisions, good reordering decisions on what to manufacture and when, and what to purchase and when. So we look forward to Sean showing us those features as well. I think what we want to do, we're at the sales order screen. This is a good place to start. Sean will show us the sales order screen. And after that, we probably want to take a look at the reordering tools to help us, make those production decisions and those purchasing decisions.
Yeah, that sounds great. We'll dive right into that. And as you were talking there, I was thinking of a customer of ours, and the owner, her name's Mary. You might know the company Peace Collective. And so Peace Collective is a company that produces a lot of the sporting good apparel that you see in all the stores. And they represent, I think it's something around 135 different major league teams in North America. And one of the challenges they had as they were scaling their fairly large organization or business, one of the challenges they had was how much inventory they would need to keep in stock. If you can imagine all the different logos and all the different, types of apparel teams might sell online, that number would skyrocket as far as how much inventory. And they had said they would actually need 5 warehouses in order to store enough inventory on hand to fill all their orders. And they actually introduced Katana, and our ability to create a very sort of efficient make to order process, along with also keeping some standard items in stock, allowed them to significantly reduce their inventory and enable their business to grow and actually take on more logos, because that's how, their competitive advantage is, carrying, more and more different teams that they might represent. And so it's an interesting, way that a business was able to significantly grow by utilizing a really efficient process of ensuring that they're only making certain items when the order actually comes in, and then stocking some of those more standard items like maybe New York Yankees baseball cap or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you use the inventory software for a while, something called a use rate, right, can be calculated. You can run a report to see what the use rate of a part is over time, and see what your most popular parts are, your semi-popular parts and your least popular parts. And then be sure that you have safety stock for your most popular parts, and just, predefine what a healthy stock level is for your, what I'd say A and B class parts, your most popular and semi-popular parts. And then, of course, see if we can get rid of and reduce and liquidate the unpopular parts.
Yeah, and we'll get into a way that Katana can help you with that, absolutely. But you're kind of leading me into explaining the sales screen, so I can go ahead. And one of the things I actually will start with is jumping off of Katana and going into Shopify.
Okay.
And so one of the things that a lot of businesses do today is they're selling on multiple sales channels, right? They're selling on Shopify. I mentioned earlier, point of sale, brick and mortar stores. They've got maybe B2B business as well. They're taking orders in, and it's important to keep the sales channels sort of consolidating into one system and having them interact in real time. For example, if we look at any of these sort of orders here that are coming in, I can see, order 1001 or 11 is for this Alpha Brain product. And I've got one item here on order for $20. And I can actually click into this and I can see, that individual item itself. I can see what we sell it for, all the information. I can also see how much inventory I have available and what's actually on hand. And this information in Shopify is actually pulling directly from Katana. So we have this real-time integration into that inventory availability. So it shows us here that we've got 2 that are committed on sales orders, and I've got 61 that are available to sell. And that's not reading into the Shopify inventory, it's reading into your actual inventory in Katana. So that's an important piece. And so as the orders are put into the system in real time from Shopify, they're going to travel over into Katana. And the nice thing is you'll actually also see where those orders came from. So on the right-hand side column here, I can actually click and open that individual Shopify order right from this screen. So it's very easy for me to see, the different sales channels that the orders do come through.
So if it came from Amazon or WooCommerce or BigCommerce or eBay or wherever it came from, it would show up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Who do you guys integrate with? This would be a good time to showcase that.
Yeah, for sure. So, Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce. We have direct integrations with native integrations that we've built. And then we have third-party connecting integrations into things like Amazon, Etsy, and really any e-commerce tool. So if we were to go in, for example, you can see this in the settings area, and we go into integrations. And there's a lot. So we've got sort of a number of integrations listed out here. So I've got my Shopify connected. I've also got my QuickBooks connected up. Those are some of the, Xero's the other accounting tool that we work with. And then we have all these different third parties. So Fulfilled by Amazon, Amazon Seller Central, what's it, eBay, EC1, I'm not sure what that one is, but it's some sort of
I don't know either.
Bear, Etsy. So there's a lot, HubSpot that you can utilize Katana to pull your orders into. And if you don't see the tool that you're using here, it will be available via something like Zapier. Or
that's what I was just gonna say. And I know you guys integrate with Zapier too, and maybe Make. I don't know.
Yeah, Make is another one. I think that's up here. Yeah.
Oh,
Make.
yep, there it is.
Yeah. So Make, Cart Rover is another one that.
For those of you that are new to this, Make is a software like Zapier, and you should check out Zapier. Zapier allows you to select the integrations you want. It's becoming more and more popular. It may work for whatever software you have right now, but if you want to plug Katana into a CRM that's not on this list, don't despair. You just purchase Make or Zapier, and you can create that integration that you're looking for. Or if the integration that you're looking for is not on this list, that doesn't mean it can't be done fairly easily with Make or Zapier. So yeah, that's a great thing to show here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just the nature of software as a whole moving to the cloud, offering more specific solutions. The ability to connect those solutions together is really important. And so one thing that Katana does have is a really accessible API. And so that's something that usually the mid-sized businesses really take advantage of because they have really customized workflows and often have a number of technology solutions that they're utilizing in their business that they need to connect up. And Katana with that API can be that hub that kind of brings everything together.
Yeah. So on this topic, we'll just ask a couple more questions on this topic. I know we're probably anxious to get to manufacturing and purchasing, but what about EDI and B2B portals? Any development done there?
So we can work with EDI through SPS. So we SPS is the sort of EDI commerce tool that we often are utilizing. And then the what was the other one that you had?
B2B.
Oh,
it's not a big deal because Shopify, WooCommerce, and BigCommerce have B2B portals within them if you purchase the right package,
Yeah, we don't have a specific B2B portal that we built into Katana, but there's so many different ways that you can get the orders into the system, whether it's just importing from, an Excel document or having some sort of webhook into your website that can automatically post the sales orders into the system. There's lots of different things you can do, but the majority of our customers that are in that B2B environment are utilizing the Shopify B2B tool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the need for IMS these days to build B2B integrations is decreasing because your Shopify's and WooCommerce's have taken that on themselves and BigCommerce. And I think that's best. That's more their territory, in my opinion. So I'm glad they've done that.
Yeah, it makes sense for sure.
So cool. Okay, so you can manually enter the order. You can integrate it with a marketplace, an e-commerce, a EDI, which is awesome automation. Talking about ROI of inventory management software, automation is another place to look. If you find yourself doing something manual, stop. You know, let's set up some automation. If it makes sense, you know, if the volume makes sense, then yeah, let's integrate and automate.
Yeah, absolutely. And so those orders often will populate automatically into Katana. And the nice thing about Katana is visualization of what's actually happening. So as you look at our sales screen here, we can see all these sales orders listed out. And right sort of smack dab almost in the center of the screen, you see this stoplight functionality, right? Where green means go, red means stop, yellow means go faster. I mean, yellow means slow down, we have to do something.
I think we
So
all speed up on a yellow light.
that's right. But what we're actually seeing in this stoplight functionality is you need to action, right? So green identifies to me in this sales column that I have all the finished goods in stock, and I can actually go create a pick order for that and pick the items and fulfill that order in the system. So that means the inventory is available. Yellow on your sales item screen indicates that I don't have it in stock yet, but there's a PO or there's a manufacturing order in the system, and it's going to indicate to me expected completion date or arrival date of those either PO or manufacturing order in the system. So that tells you when you expect it to be completed. And then red would indicate I actually don't think I have anything that isn't completely red. But if we were to put in an order into the system and I didn't have that in stock, it would highlight that in red. And you can see that actually on the ingredients column here. So one of the cool things about Katana is it's not only showing you your finished goods, it's also showing you your ingredients. Do you have the things that make up that finished product if you are manufacturing them in stock? And I know that's a really big challenge for manufacturers. I worked with Cron Technologies, and that was, they're out in Vancouver. They make these really high-end cameras. And one of the challenges that they had was they would take in these custom orders for these cameras, but they wouldn't know whether or not they had all the components in stock to actually fulfill those orders. And it created a really challenging time because basically the lead time they would tell their customer was, you know, basically a guess. We didn't really know everything that we had in stock and could we fulfill that. But if you know you have all the ingredients in stock, it can help create a lot of confidence in making a promise to your customer when you can get the product over to them. And then we can also see in production here how we started a job in production, what's the status of that job, who's working on it. All those things are available, and you can see sort of what's work in progress. And I can click into any one of these to kind of get the details behind that as well.
Yeah, I like that available to build or available to kit.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone who wouldn't want that. Anybody that does assemblies or manufacturing that wouldn't want available to build or available to kit. And I imagine those numbers, the available to build or available to kit numbers, flow through to the e-commerce platform as well. So if someone's trying to create an order in the Shopify platform, does it also tell them that it's available to build or available to kit?
So the bundling and kitting functionality is not something we've released just yet. It is on our roadmap and will be done. We're expecting, you know, my product team or the Katana product team doesn't like us to give specific dates. So we'll just say within the next few months, the kitting and bundling functionality to give you an idea of what you can sell based on any individual kit, looking into the ingredients, will be available in the next few months.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're close on that
You
one.
guys
So
are
basically
busy.
in that there's lots going on for sure.
Your
So
developers are hard at work.
yes, yeah, and some of the things that we've released just this year are phenomenal. So I'd love to dig into some of those, but yeah, we will certainly.
Cool. So yeah, I love this dashboard. I think this is your claim to fame right here. You know,
It really is. Yeah, it kind of tells you a lot about the overall sort of ease of use of the system too. Whether you're selecting an item and you want to reorganize, make it order, change the status of that order. You can go ahead and drag and drop it. That's going to change the priority of the order. So you know, ensure that how you're prioritizing your sales screen is also going to feed into how those inventory items are allocated to those jobs, as well as how the orders are picked, how the orders are manufactured. That's all drilling in and leading into your actual manufacturing order prioritization. So that's a really, you know, cool aspect of Katana. If I jump over to the manufacturing screen here, how I'm prioritizing those sales orders is going to feed into my manufacturing order prioritization. And you can create privileges around that, so only certain people would be able to actually make those changes. But this allows us to then ensure that how we're prioritizing our manufacturing orders is indicative of how we've actually prioritized our orders relative to the customers we're trying to, you know, service and fulfill their orders. So I can see all my manufacturing orders listed out here. I can very easily, you know, click into any one of these. So if I wanted to see what's on manufacturing order 13, I can see it's an individual coffee table that we're manufacturing here. I have an idea of what this product is made out of. I can also see the individual component or operations that this job is going to go through in production. So it's a really sort of helpful visualization of, you know, your manufacturing order, the ingredients, the operations that the job's going to go through. And we're going to collect the cost associated to each one of those. So what's the planned as well as the actual quantity of material we end up consuming, the planned and actual time we end up using on those jobs. And those can be entered in manually right on this screen here, or right on that shop floor application where an employee is consuming material or inventory. They can enter in how much they have consumed to make that product, and as well as their time can fill in there automatically.
Nice. So what does this look like on paper? I imagine you have some sort of work order document that you can print out, and maybe I shouldn't go there because we're in the 21st century here, right? And you've got it on the mobile device, but this manufacturer order here, does this translate into some sort of traveler or yeah, go ahead and show us what this looks like.
Yeah, and you can go and create your custom, you know, templates, print templates out of the system pretty easily. But you know, you've got a pick list, manufacturing order that you can produce here. You can exclude the costs. So there's a bunch of different reports that you can run depending on what you want to see out on the shop floor. So if you wanted to go and produce a report in the system, you can go and do that. And so this is identifying the coffee table, the ingredients, and the operations that this job needs.
I think this is, oops, sorry, I spoke over you. I think this is an important tool for achieving accurate inventory, especially for manufacturers, is not to just go with the plan, but to record what actually happened, right? And so I see this consumed, remaining quantity, actual quantity, planned. You know, that's the kind of thing I love to see. Is okay, this is what we plan to do, but what actually happened, and let's record what actually happened so our inventory will be accurate.
Yeah, you nailed it exactly. Just making sure that, you know, as things are happening within the business, we're documenting it as easily as possible and keeping the system accurate. Because that's really going to speak back to that, you know, we spoke about it earlier, that real-time inventory aspect, right? Are we keeping our inventory accurate and in real time so that you can make better business decisions, whether to, you know, buy more material, invest that money into marketing because you've got plenty in stock, whatever you want to do, you know, you can only make those business decisions. You can make better business decisions the more accurate the information you have is. And that kind of feeds into some of the reporting tools and capabilities from an insights perspective that we have.
That printout that we just saw is the equivalent of that on the mobile device?
Yeah, it is more, I would say, interactive on the mobile device. So what's happening on the mobile device is you have, so for example, manufacturing order 13, you can go and assign this to particular or individual operators. So I've just got myself set up as an operator in the system. But most businesses wouldn't assign operators to manufacturing orders. Often they're assigning the operator to a specific operation or task. So that would say, okay, for example, the table saw today is going to be assigned to a specific individual. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so after they've assigned those jobs to that individual, you can see, oh, Sean's got 125 hours worth of jobs assigned to him. So he's going to be busy for the next couple of weeks here. And then on the shop floor, what they're going to see is the actual jobs that are assigned to them. So I'm logged in currently as Sean, okay, and I can see the individual jobs that are assigned to me. So if I wanted to go and start any one of these jobs, I can just go and click into it. And I can see here's the operations that this job is going, or sorry, here's the materials that this job is going to need. You can see your actual and your planned material consumption that can automatically be filled in. They can also add additional ingredients if they end up grabbing something else from
that's
inventory.
a nice on the fly feature. Yeah, that's cool.
And then they have the other operations, so they can see actually the other steps that are going on relative to that particular thing. So we can see green means those have been completed. So we can start this, and I'm currently in the press. So that's going to move that to yellow, indicating that that operation is currently being worked on.
Okay. And then in this screen here, can we put in the actual consumption of our ingredients?
You can. So when you finish the job, it'll ask you how much ingredient did you consume, and then you can enter that in. That is a setting that you would turn on. Not everyone wants their employees to have to enter in the amount of ingredients that they consumed. So that's a setting that you can turn on. And when you go and finish that operation, it'll ask you how much ingredients that did you put in. So if I hit finish here, in this case, I don't have that turned on, but it would have asked me on the ingredient section here, how much of that did I actually go and consume? And you would be able to enter that in manually. Or
Nice
scan the barcode as well.
Yeah, it's nice that we have those two options because everyone's workflow is different. And we've got to configure the software to work for us. Hopefully not configure us to work for the software.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good to see these options.
Maybe configure ourselves. I often hear, not often, but certainly I've heard businesses and individuals say, well, we don't do it that way. So we're not changing, and that way might not be the most efficient way, right? And so sometimes it's certainly, I don't think you should have to change your business to be less efficient to utilize software or a new tool. But I also think that you should be open-minded in the fact that sometimes change can bring about efficiencies, and to never change is going to be a problem for your business long term.
Yeah, when I guide companies through a successful software implementation, we create a document called the desired overall workflow.
Interesting.
So we don't, I listen to them tell me what their current workflow is, and then we say, okay, what should it be? What's our goal? What's our desire? What should our desired overall workflow be? And then we can also document desired individual procedures as well. But yeah, the way things are going on right now, the way the workflow is right now, if you're watching this and I'm probably preaching to the choir here, you're probably thinking, yeah, the reason we're considering inventory management software is because, we have need for improvement, right? We recognize that we have need for improvement, and improvement implies change. So yeah, we map out and we document what we want that to be. What is the best scenario that we should be striving towards? What is the best process or procedure or workflow that we want to get to? And let's write it down as our vision, as our goal to work towards. So yeah, I see often that inventory management software aids in that journey of improving workflow and processes and procedures.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you think of like that efficiency perspective, that's where really Katana is focused on. And sort of avoiding unnecessary clicks and jumping in and out of things. We really want to make that user experience as seamless and effortless as possible. It's one of our core focuses is ease of use. And as we navigate through the system, you'll notice, pretty much everything is clickable. So if I need to click into the order, the customer, I need to go and open up something separately, I can utilize the sort of cloud functionality within the tool to kind of go and look at something separately from the area that I am within the system. The forward and backward navigation within the tool also works within your browser. So that ease of use, that efficiency of process that you're trying to kind of optimize workflows is something Katana does really well, because sort of we focus really highly on making sure we're not having inefficient clicks and processes in place just to use the system.
Yeah. So the screen we're on right now is looking over on the left-hand side, and I see MO and I also see SO, both. And I see make in yellow in the top left-hand corner. And before, the screen you showed us before was sell. So we got sell, we've got make, we also have buy. Now, the sales orders that are in there are creating demand for product, right? The manufacturers that are in there are fulfilling some of the sales order demand, but also creating demand for the materials or ingredients or components, whatever you want to call them, raw goods, you could call them. So now what I'm looking forward to seeing is your tool to help the user create the manufacturer orders and purchase orders required to fulfill shortages, and or maybe bring unhealthy stock levels to a healthy level.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. That's where my mind was going as well, Lance. So like you said, we've got the sort of demand in the system through the sales order screen. We've taken a look at sort of how manufacturing orders are managed within the system, how you can sort of schedule them and track time against them, and as well as consume inventory. But one of the big challenges for businesses today is how are they taking the demand that they have within the system, but also planning for what they are going to do in the future. So maybe you've got a big Black Friday event coming up and you're going to have a spike in sales. How are you right sizing your inventory for those expected transitions in your demand? And one of the things that Katana has done was built this planning tool. So in the planning tool, it's a forecasting engine that is giving you visibility of what inventory you have in stock and how many weeks of inventory you have in stock of that individual product.
I'm sorry, I've got to be honest. When you showed me this screen, the first thing that came to mind was, holy shit. This is freaking awesome, man. This is cool. You don't see this every day in inventory management software. Usually you've got to plug something in and spend double the price to get an inventory management software to do this. You guys just went, oh, this is just normal for us. We're just going to put a forecasting software inside our IMS and act like it's no big deal. I'm sorry. I'm going to make a big deal of it. This is a holy shit. This is a wow. Oh my gosh. This is pretty cool. So anyways, I'll shut up and let you show us this,
And you know what? It dawned on us why we really needed to build this was really, it's always driven by our customer feedback. So we've got 1,700 customers that, really drive the development of the solution. But the key pain point that businesses were struggling with was connecting that demand through to purchase orders. So I'm selling things. I'm planning on, selling these things, often in a separate system, but it's really difficult to get that to go and connect over to my purchase orders. And it was really disjointed in the market, even if you utilize an integration with another forecasting tool. And so what Katana has done is to really try to streamline that process. So you have this visualization of how many weeks of inventory I currently have in stock. But what we also get with this, so if I click on any sort of box in the grid, it pops open the detail here of that individual component. So this dining table black, I can see my forecasted consumption. So essentially, the system is looking at the way it's calculated is your past 6 months of sales of that item and what is your weekly consumption of that on average over the past 6 months. And that's how it sort of assumes in the future that that forecasted consumption will be. But you have the ability to actually go and edit that. So maybe I have a planned sale coming in that will then go and update your inventory requirements and demand as you go in and put in sort of that planned consumption. Okay.
So it creates a forecast based on a linear trend, looking at a trend from historical use rates and historical consumption rates. And then you can say, well, I actually have tribal knowledge. I know what's coming up and this is coming up. So I need to overrule these and say, yeah, it's not an actual order in the system yet, but I know it will be. This is my estimate. This is my crystal ball. So let's plunk
You've
those.
got it. You got it exactly.
Yeah.
So you've got that sort of ability to enter in what you're planning and you're selling into the system. And there's a couple ways you can enter it. You can do it, or you could do your forecast in an Excel sheet of, okay, here's the plan, and then just import that in. And so then once that's into the system, as far as what your forecasted consumption is going to be, you have this screen here, but there's a lot of information on here, and it's like, what the heck do I do with it all? So that's where we've got the replenishment screen. So kind of to your original point around the purchasing. So now we're going to focus in on the areas within the system that I need to go out and action. What do I need to go and buy? What do I need to go out and make? So if we go, for example, over to the products column in the system, most of the products I have set up in the system are things I make. I can go and select the items that I'm going to need to make, and I can hit make. Okay, and it would generate the manufacturing orders for those items. I can also do that on the material side. So I can go and identify the materials that I need to go out and buy, and I can buy them. And the nice thing is you can set up minimum order quantities within the system as well. So you can say, okay, for that particular item, the minimum order quantity is this. So I'm always going to, buy that quantity within the system. And you can set up also sort of minimum stocking quantity as well. So what's the minimum inventory I want to stock? So you can maintain that, or what we're calling it, a safety stock level. So we can maintain the safety stock within the system. So right from here, though, I'm able to go in and create and open that purchase order. So I can see now right from that planning screen, I've gone in and created my PO within the system. And so it allows me to do that really efficiently. I've got my internal barcodes associated to it automatically, the quantity I'm going out and buying, my price per unit, and then my total price of that purchase order.
And we haven't emailed it to the vendor yet. The user has the ability to take a look at this and decide whether it's in their budget, whether those are good quantities for the vendor to receive, because some vendors have other requirements, like a minimum order requirement or an increment requirement. And so, it hasn't emailed anyone. You can still make your changes and then email it to the vendor.
Yeah, you got it exactly. So you just got your little email button here. You send it off to your vendor. You can attach any additional documents that you want to this, shoot that off, and your email's out of the system. You can also then go and apply if they had some additional costs. So there's a shipping cost that you want to, go and throw in here for $100. The system will then actually add that to your landed cost. So your inventory is getting entered into Katana at the appropriate cost, and then your overall, cost of goods sold is going to be accurate, and your profitability is really going to be pinpoint. And that's something we hear often from some of the customers we work with, is they just don't know how profitable they are on any given product, job, sales order. And so with Katana, we really do provide the detail of the landed costs, the operational costs, the materials that are all going into those products, and you're selling out of the system.
And this all integrates with QuickBooks. And when you receive and reconcile a purchase order, it'll create a bill in QuickBooks, right?
You've got it. Yeah, exactly. So you can go in and receive it, and you can receive it again with barcode scanner if you want to. If you've got the supplier item codes in there and they've got barcodes, you can go and sort of bang those away and scan them. So you just go, if you want to just receive them all, you receive it in, and then you can just go and hit bill. So now I've gone in and created the QuickBooks bill in the system, and that's going to do your inventory transaction as well. So it's going to increase your inventory and create the AP transaction in the system. So you can go and open up QuickBooks and kind of see that right here as well. So I could click on that and that would open up the bill.
I want to backtrack just a little bit, going back to the forecast screen, just for a second. I forgot to ask about reorder points. So you've got this awesome tool, the products tab, you've got the products tab and the materials tab, help you decide what to manufacture, what to purchase. That calculation now on the products tab or the materials tab, not sure why we're on this screen. You're probably going to answer my
question. Sorry. Yeah. I was going to answer your question, but maybe I was going a little bit too quickly. Go ahead.
Maybe I'm not sure. I did the same thing. So on the products tab, if you could go to the products tab.
Yeah. On the replenishment screen.
Oh, is it replenish? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
So in the replenish section. Yeah. You know what I'm looking for.
Okay.
We've got, the materials where we make it. So when we click buy, somehow it comes up with this number to say, this is how much you need to make. And you showed us the forecasting tool, but I forgot to ask about reorder points. I think sometimes those also play in, not just the forecasting tool. So I'm curious to know what it considers, what your software considers when it's coming up with the recommended amount to make or the recommended amount to purchase.
Yeah, that's a great point. So it is going to take into consideration sort of the forecasted demand and when you sort of expect to be, run out of inventory, and then give you a suggested order quantity according, as well as the minimum quantity you want to keep in stock. So, for example, if we go to this 14 karat gold, I don't know if I have all the data filled in on it, but we'll just open it up here. So this is a 14 karat gold. It's in my category jewelry. I track it by grams. I can have variants and additional information. But over on the supplier detail is where we can have the 14 karat gold, the item code, the default lead time, the minimum order quantity.
There we go.
And that default purchase price. So
got a minimum order quantity. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No,
I guess what I'm looking for is like a trigger point, a reorder point, or a safety stock, a minimum point, a min and max sort of numbers. Are there anything like that?
Not I guess a max number. The other area where we have the so the minimum order quantity would be, my brain was pleased. So on the stocking screen, I guess it's interesting that it's not on that screen. I just realized that, but you have the reorder point.
There we go.
So this is other piece where you would go and say, okay, what's my reorder point for that? And so when my inventory hits that reorder point, it triggers me to go in and put in that purchase order.
And make or buy more. Okay.
Yeah, make or buy more. Exactly. You got it.
And I see there's make or buy buttons on this screen too. In a previous demo you showed me, you clicked on buy, and then it also showed all the other items you buy from that vendor. So
yes,
looks like there's more than one way to access that replenishment tool or that reorder tool.
Yeah, you got it. Exactly. So this right now we're working on our stock screen. So this is more, not necessarily taking into consideration the forecasted demand. This is really looking at your existing demand within the system, as well as your reorder points, and then suggesting what you should buy based on that. So I can go and create a purchase order or a manufacturing order within the system based on mission.
Nice. And I see you have a stock take button on the top left-hand corner in blue. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So, depending on how a business is operating, they most often are going to do some form of a inventory stock take quarterly. Some are doing it annually. Some are doing it sort of weekly just on certain categories or areas within the warehouse. So in Katana, you could go in and say, okay, I want to go and do a stock take on all my items in row A of the bin locations. You could go and sort of select the specific bin location that you want to do this within, and then you would select the items that you want to create your stock take for, and then you would hit create stock take. And this will then create the stock take. If the item didn't show up here, that means you didn't have any in stock. So now I'm ready to go in and create the stock take. You can enter in your reason code. So maybe it's just annual inventory, and then you can hit start. So once you start, it creates like a work in progress job where your inventory essentially is frozen until that stock take, not frozen like you can still sell and buy stuff, but the work is in progress. And then you hit save, and that will, so when you hit work in progress, it actually takes out the counted quantity, because you don't necessarily want the employee to know how much the system thinks you have in stock. You want them to actually count what's out there. So this allows them to then enter in the counted quantity. So if we had 50 of the alpha brain and we had, I don't know, 80 grams of gold in stock, this would sort of update, and then we would say we completed, and there's a counted process and then completed. So there's potentially 2 steps to this if you'd like. But once you say completed, that will then do that completion and stock adjustment based on what the discrepancy is. And then you can actually push that discrepancy over to QuickBooks Online as to update the inventory over there as well.
As a inventory adjustment, debit or credit to inventory, debit or credit to inventory adjustment. And cool. So you showed us the cell screen and every way to get cells in. You showed us the manufacturing screen and the manufacturing screens that apply to manufacturing, along with the mobile device and a printout. Showed us that powerful forecasting tool. And we dug back in and saw that, yes, there are reorder points as well that the replenishment tool considers, and showed us the purchasing screen that we can email purchase orders to vendors and make final corrections to purchase orders. We've got receiving. You told us that receiving is coming in the mobile device. So that's exciting. We'll look forward to seeing that. And yeah, I think we've got pretty much the complete overview. We talked about how it syncs with QuickBooks, and if you receive something or record the bill in Katana, it creates a bill in QuickBooks. We didn't mention, but it was on the screen while we were talking that when you fulfill a sales order, it will create an invoice in QuickBooks, or maybe a sales receipt, depending on what needs to happen. I'm not sure, but yeah, is there what else do you want to finish up with as a final conclusion?
As a final conclusion, I think I was going to go into the barcode picking aspect, but we've got bin locations and barcode picking, and can logically, track through the warehouse where an employee should go and scan the items that they're picking through the warehouse to fulfill and pick those orders. But I think what it comes down to is the insights and, gathering that information, like you said, right from the beginning, the real-time information that helps you make better business decisions. And so from the sales, manufacturing, purchasing, you can really drill into and analyze within the business, understand your profitability, what's your total cost, what specific categories of your business are most profitable, what areas are driving the revenue within the organization, and really help you focus the company on the areas that are driving you to success. And so kind of culminating that all together into really nice dashboards and reports that can be actionable and allow a business owner to really have visibility on what's going on within their operations.
Yeah, I like that. People like dashboards. We're
Exactly.
looking for colors and graphs, and I'm a visual person, so I like to see lines along with the numbers as well. I think it really helps. Our profit margin progress, yeah, those are nice. So, well, awesome.
Yeah.
If there's there's nothing else, then I guess that's a good stopping point. Until next time, huh?
That sounds great, Lance. Until next time, it was my pleasure to join you on your YouTube channel. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate your continued support of Katana and watching us over the years. I don't know if you remember, our first conversation was almost 3 years ago. So
Has
we've
it
been
been that
chatting for a
long?
little while. Yes. So we've been
Whoa.
chatting for a little while.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So if you haven't watched any of my other videos, what we do here at Brando Consulting is we help small business owners find the right inventory management software. And then if you'd like, we stay with you through to assure a successful implementation of that inventory management software. So we offer what we call assessment services to help you decide what inventory software is the best fit for you. And we offer what we call project management services to work together with the software techs, the ones that know the software really well, to assure successful implementation. So hopefully you'll subscribe to see more videos like this. And if you have any questions, comment below. We answer these questions, and Sean might dive in and answer some of the questions as well. And yeah, if this was insightful, and no pun intended, right? We're on the insight screen.
No.
Click that like button.
Awesome. Thanks so much.